Now what I've done is written the notes from the G major scale, which is what we think the song She Loves You is in, and I've numbered the first, the third, and the fifth, just like I did before with the C major scale. And to review, the G major scale is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. And I wrote these additional notes here so we can use them when we get up that high in building our triads. And I'll leave out the 2 and the 4 this time, since I think you get the idea. We're just picking the first, the third, and the fifth notes from the scale. The scale sounds like this. There's 1 sharp on F. Okay, so if we pick the first, the third, and the fifth, we get a G, B, D. And I told you before, the pattern's always the same, so not surprisingly, that comes out to be the first one in our pattern list here, which is, the first one's going to be a major, and that is G major, all right. So now,
we've done that one already, so now we'll erase these and we'll scoot everything to the right.
And now our A becomes our 1, C becomes our 3, and E becomes our 5. So we analyze those and we say, well, A, C, and E. Here's what they sound like. I'll play them up here. That should make a minor according to our pattern, and sure enough, A, C, and E is an A minor. So I'll write that down, because that's now available to us. I'll just make a small M there to indicate minor.
To move this along. Okay, shift everything to the right.
And now the B becomes our first, D becomes our third, and F sharp becomes our fifth. So B, D, and F sharp, what is that? Well, that's B, D, and F sharp. Sounds like this. You can probably hear that's a minor sounding thing. According to our pattern, sure enough, it's a minor, and it is. Those are the notes that make up a B minor chord. So I'll make a small M there.
Okay, moving right along. Now we go to the
C, and we put the 1 under the C, we skip it, go to 3 under the E, and 5 under the G. Well, that's very familiar. C, E, and G, that's a C major. Check our pattern, this is the fourth one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, major is supposed to be the fourth one, and it is. It's a C major chord, just like it's supposed to be.
So, C major. Okay, good. Now we'll move everything over to the right again.
And we'll start with D this time. We'll make that the 1, and then F sharp gets to be the 3, and the A is the 5. Okay, 1, 3, and 5. D, F sharp, and A. Here they are on the piano. D, F sharp, and A. Sounds like this. Pretty happy sound, and it should be a major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, it's a major. It's supposed to be a major, and it is. It's D major. D, F sharp, and A is a D major.
Okay, so now we'll erase that. We'll scoot everything over to the right again. We'll start with
E this time. Okay, E gets the 1, skip that. G gets the 3, skip that. And B gets the 5. Now we have E, G, and B. These are the notes. Sounds, it's a sad sounding thing. And it will be our 6th one in our pattern, which is a minor. And sure enough, E, G, and B is an E minor chord. So
everything's working just fine so far. We'll do the last one that we need to do. It's going to be F sharp.
This is the weird one, remember? It comes out as the diminished one. Okay, so F sharp gets the 1, A gets the 3, and C gets the 5. So it's, I'll go down here, F sharp, A, and C. Sounds like this. Kind of a cool, almost a mysterious, creepy sound. F sharp, A, and C is F sharp diminished, and sure enough, that is what it's supposed to be according to the pattern. It's F sharp, and then diminished, D-I-M for short. So, sure enough, it followed the pattern that I told you. Any key will follow the pattern. So again, what we did here is we took a G major scale and we built the diatonic chords that are available to us from that scale. Now what I've done is written down the diatonic chords from G major, and I've written down the chords from the first verse of the song She Loves You. Remember that diatonic chords from any scale follow the pattern of major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. And so all you have to do to figure out what chords are available to you when you know what key you're in is create the chords that follow that pattern. In the case of a G major scale, the notes available to you are G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and that's just the G major scale. It has one sharp on F. And so the chords that are available to you are G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, and F sharp diminished. After that they just repeat. So then I rewrote the chords from the first verse of the song. This is not the order they appear in, and the reason I changed the order is just so that the arrows would match up better, so that it wouldn't be a mess. I wanted you to see that the first verse has 4 chords in it: G major, B minor, D7, which is dominant 7, and E minor 7. And by the way, when we're doing this, we ignore additional notes beyond the 3-note triad. So in the case of sixths and sevenths, or ninths, 11ths, and 13ths, and so on, you just look at the first 3 notes of that triad. So when we're doing this, we can ignore the sevenths, or in one case there's the G major 6, so we can ignore the 6th, just for purposes of figuring out if we're in the right key. And when we do that, we see that sure enough, every chord from the first verse, G major, is in the diatonic chords available to us in the key of G major, obviously, because their names are the same. B minor is in the first verse, and B minor is available to us from the diatonic chords. D major, with the dominant 7 on top, is in the first verse, and D major is available to us from the diatonic chords of G major scale. And lastly, E minor, with a flatted 7th on top, is in the verse, and E minor is available to us in the diatonic chords of the G major scale. So we've now looked at 4 factors. The first chord of the first verse was G. The last chord of the song was a G major 6, so that's a G. We played the G major scale against the melody of the first verse, and it fit. In fact, it's almost a perfect fit. And then finally, we looked at the diatonic chords available to us in G major, compared them to the first verse, and found that every chord from the first verse of the song is in the diatonic chords of G major. Given all of that, all the signs point to this song being in the key of G major, and so I conclude that She Loves You by the Beatles is written in the key of G major.